So we're going to talk about Lesson 9, Day 1 lesson, and that is where we talk about matrix operations, addition, subtraction, and scalar multiplication. So just to get us started, I'll go ahead and skip the front page. We'll just start with the definition of a matrix. A matrix is a rectangular array of numbers used to organize data. So we can create a matrix from a table of data. And here in Explorer 1, we have a table of data for a grade book. So we have a grade book for Professor Snape. And here are 3 assignments, and we have 4 students in this grade book. So we can create the matrix that represents this grade book down below. So here is the name, equals, and we need to have some kind of bracket enclosing our numbers, and then we just write the numbers in one at a time. So this is how we represent the gradebook as a matrix. The horizontal parts, these are called rows, are horizontal. And the vertical parts of our matrix are called columns. So if we go and we're asked to copy the row that represents Draco Malfoy. So if I go look at the gradebook matrix, the row that represents Draco Malfoy is 95, 90, and 85. And the column for the poison grades is 100, 95, 70, and 85. Okay, so rows are horizontal, columns are vertical. Each matrix has an order. This is a property of a matrix that tells us how big that matrix is. So the way that we write the order is the number of rows times the number of columns. So for the gradebook matrix, if we go look, it has 4 rows and 3 columns. 4 rows and 3 columns. So go take a minute and look at the gradebook matrix to make sure I'm right. Next, we might want to just reference individual entries within our matrix. So this is a typo. It should say G23. It's really, really important for both the order and whenever we reference an entry, that row comes before column. Row is first and column is second. And what makes me, maybe it'll help you remember that if you think of it as a roller coaster. Row and column. So if I'm just talking about a general matrix, so if I have matrix G and I want to reference row M and column N, I write down the row first, M, N, and the column second. So if I go back to my matrix and I want to find the G23, this is not 23. Okay, this is not 23. This is one number for row. The second number is for column. You can just turn it in. So if I go look for G23, I go to my matrix G. I look for the second row and the third column. So that number is 85. And it represents Draco Malfoy's final exam grade right here. So it's 85 and it represents his final exam grade. So G23 is 85 and it represents Malfoy's final exam grade. The key points here are that row comes before column whenever we talk about the order or if we're referencing an entry in our matrix. The next page in our notes, we want to find the order of each of these three matrices. So first, it's row by column. So we have 2 rows and 2 columns for this one. For this one, I have 4 rows and 2 columns. And for this one, I have 2 rows and 3 columns. To find the entry, so I go to matrix A, the first row, the second column. So row 1, second column, A12 is equal to 1. B41, I go to matrix B, row 4, column 1 equals 80. And C23, that's row 2, column 3 is 321. An example of a matrix that is, here we want to write down an example that has order 1, 5. So it had 1 row and 5 entries. So you could put whatever numbers you want in there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be an example of a matrix that has order 1 by 5. Let's just keep moving forward. The last topic that I want to go over is adding and subtracting matrices. So the first step is you write down the order of the matrices you're adding or subtracting. And the rule is to add or subtract 2 matrices. They must have the same order. Okay, so if I'm doing C plus D, they both have the order 2 by 3, and the result is going to have the order 2 by 3. So I'll draw a blank here for where each number belongs. And to get this number, I go to where that location is in matrix C. So I have 1, and I do plus, and I do the same location for the number in D, 1 plus 5. So this next one is going to be 2 plus 8, and the 8 comes from right here. And then I do 3 plus 9 goes right here. This is 4 plus negative 1, which is just 4 minus 1. 5 plus 2, and 6 plus 4. So our answer would be 6, 3, 10, 7, 12, and 10. To do C minus D, same thing. We'll have the same order, but instead of adding the numbers, we subtract. So 1 minus 5 goes here, 2 minus 8, 3 minus 9, 4 minus negative 1, 5 minus 2, and 6 minus 4. So your answer would be minus 4, 5, minus 6, minus 6, 3, and 2. So using these examples, you should be able to get through this problem right here in your notes. And you should be able to complete number 1, number 2 down here, and number 3. Okay, so I'll go over scalar multiplication in a separate video.